Good afternoon. This is Sam Matterface, and we've got Jon Norman in the studio, our cricket editor, who's joined us to talk about the 100 because the season starts today. Darren McAntony is still here, and so is Alex Crook, and it's going to be the last in this current format. Is that right?
It may not be the last in its current format in terms of 8 teams, 100 balls, all that kind of shebang.
Well, they can't change that if they're going to call it the 100, can they?
Well, funnily enough, actually, there is talk that they will change that down the line. That's still to be agreed. There's a lot of argument and debate to be had about it. But essentially, yeah, you could have a kind of a strange... Because a brand is now synonymous with this particular competition.
Yeah.
So it could be that, you know, by 2029 or something, when the new TV deal will come into place, that it's called the 100, but is a T20 competition. But to be honest with you... that is just one discussion that is yet to be really properly started, let alone finished.
They've got to nail it down, though, because there's been too many changes in these sort of blast competitions, 100 competition, whatever it is. This short format of the game needs to be nailed down so people can start buying into it. The IPL has done a brilliant job. It's completely transformed the way that cricket is played around the entire world. If we want to get on board with a short form game, we need to hone in on something and maximise it, don't we?
We do. I think that the format itself, whether you change that or not, 100 ball, 120 ball, I'm not sure it makes a huge amount of difference. But one of the small items that's come up for debate in the last 24 hours is the fact that, you know, essentially they're trying to sell it, trying to make money for the game. And one of the things that is open is a change of name. So, you know, somebody could come in and buy, I don't know, the Oval Invincibles, just say it's the club that's nearest to where we're sat here by the river in London, and they could decide to change the name to whatever. I mean, and that, I think, does actually hit into quite an important aspect of all this, because it's one of the areas of cricket and all sport where there is real envy with football, is that with football you have a tribalism attached to your club, and that's essentially how it works, right? You take away the tribalism, actually football doesn't work, you know. It makes it relative. Not relative, it makes it relevant. So you can be in charge.
That's why we spent all morning arguing.
But this is, and it's a good point. If you can be a Peterborough fan, or you could be a Chelsea fan, or you could be a Manchester United fan, doesn't matter.
Yep.
You get as much out of supporting your club if you're a Peterborough fan as you do. You may not have the trophies, the cabinet, but
we won a trophy last year. They didn't.
I'm just saying.
Did Fulham win a trophy
and
last
look at
season?
this, and this is immediately. Look at.
Hey.
Do you see that?
Hey, we were at Wembley. We won.
So just for those people who aren't watching on YouTube, immediately I mentioned your clubs. You started pointing fingers, pointing to yourself, and getting up in your seat and getting angry. That's how it works.
How much are they losing, these clubs? How much are they losing? Like
well,
the 100. Tell me what.
The way that
sell it to me and I'll buy one.
The way that the ECB package the financial side of things is a little bit sleight of hand.
Right.
So essentially, some people say that the tournament's making a profit.
Right.
On the other hand, people are saying, yeah, but you don't factor in the wages that you pay the players, so then it's not making a profit.
Am I only paying the players just for this tournament?
Oh yeah.
So they come in as like mercenaries, a bit like obviously IPL. They go through a draft. You pay for them. They come in.
Yeah.
So as
You
an
own
owner,
them,
I own the club, whatever it's called.
No.
Right. So what do I own?
Exactly.
You own 49%
You
of
have
it.
just hit on the absolute nail on the head in all this.
Oh, minority.
So if you were to so if you were to look at the way that T20 leagues work around the world, and very few are making any money, the owners come in and they own the club.
Yep.
Right? They own everything. They can do whatever they want, right? And they can bring their friends over from India, and they can be sat in the big chair, and they can take it.
Involved in that,
Okay. That's not how this is going to work.
Stupid.
So the ECB, but the problem is the ECB are kind of trying to keep too many parties happy. And we all know what happens when that, essentially, nobody ends up happy, right?
Yeah.
So who's paying all the bills for each of those clubs?
The owners will be,
the minority owners.
Once this, there's so much to be decided here, by the way.
Right.
Essentially, what will happen is, imagine, again, Oval Invincibles, just take that as an example. The ECB will sell 49% of that club to an investor, to you, right?
Yep.
But they are going to give 51% to Surrey, which is the host, which is where the game.
The home ground is at, right? Yeah? Okay, gotcha.
Or they'll give it to the host.
Right.
And then it's up to the host what they do with their money, whether with their stake. Do they sell it? Surrey won't need to because they earn so much money.
Who pays all the losses? The 49% holder?
Well,
Surrey?
That's to be decided, right? And how much power does the investor have?
Well, of course.
What kind of percentage do they get? And this is the problem. The ECB essentially don't want to.
Don't know their arse from their elbow.
But what they don't want to do
They don't want to
is
sell
they
off
don't want
the
to take.
summer.
They don't want to take the clubs that are playing in this 100 away from the counties. They want to keep it based with the counties, but they also want private investment to come in to try and raise the level of the amount of money they can pay the players. Right? That seems what it's like from the outside looking in.
Pay the players, pay off debt, keep counties afloat, put money into grassroots, put it into the recreational game.
But ultimately, you'll get to do all of that if you make a game that is attractive and that people buy into, and then start to have these tribal sort of attachments too. If you keep changing the format and changing the
they've
clubs,
done it all wrong
you're
so
going to lose
far.
all that.
Yeah, correct. And also, there's another thing here. You need to keep the broadcasters happy as well. That's key. You know, the Premier League is the only tournament in the world which makes as much money from its home deal as it does for its overseas deal.
Yeah.
Well, that ain't going to happen, right? So you've got to keep Sky Sports sweet.
Who's covering the losses right now for these? Before we're talking.
ECB.
So ECB basically underwrites all losses for each of these. How many teams are there in it?
There's 8.
8 teams. Okay. Do we know any idea? Are they losing $1 million? Are they losing 2 million? 5 million? Is there anyone got any figures?
Well, each club will be losing a different amount,
Right.
because each club.
There's no salary cap?
There is a salary cap, yeah.
Okay.
And
Yeah, but
presumably,
of course, they're different sizes of grounds, have
Of
different
course.
audiences.
Crowds, audience. They don't
Like-
pool all the money, all 8 clubs,
Well-
like the NFL?
Well, no, it's not an NFL kind of.
No.
And also, the other thing is, it's traditionally the way you earn money is different. So the broadcast deal will be split amongst all 8 teams.
So what do they all get each is from the broadcaster, do we know?
That I couldn't tell you. I'm
Jesus,
not
do we know
100%
anything?
Sure.
Do we know anything? I mean, what, like, the ECB not releasing any of this info?
Well, the interesting thing here is that you've got some big clubs, like you mentioned, the Oval Invincibles, which will sell out every single game. It's a big event. There's lots of corporate sponsorship because it's in London, and people think, right, okay,
Yeah,
we'll
and-
take businesses
so
to their.
The host venue makes money from the merchandise, all the merchandise and the
merchandise, all
beer
that
and
kind of
all
stuff.
that.
See, I go to a
goes
Manchester-
that
the
goes
county.
to, like, Surrey in that case, not
Correct.
the 49% there.
Well, no, they haven't
Well,
got the
'cause
49%.
they haven't attracted the interest.
point
of the
now
They're not
is
going to have
that-
much luck attracting anybody.
So they're having a bit of an auction right now, right? Okay, so the idea is not that right now, but they are going to have like a speed dating thing where people can come in and buy into it. Ryan Reynolds has been linked, is that right? Avram Grazer was. I know you'll love that.
Good luck with that, by the way.
Well,
If the
exactly.
Glazers get
Avram
involved.
Grazer's
Well, exactly.
getting involved.
but this is the point, isn't it? You know, there is
If
a
you want
fit,
leaking roofs, get the
there is
Glazers
a
involved.
there is a fit and proper persons test, which may be laughable, but it's there for football. How does it work with cricket?
So what you're saying is it's a complete mess and no one really knows what the future holds.
Well, I would say it's a complete mess. I think that ECB have an idea of how they see the future. I would say that Sky Sports have got a view of how they see the future. But essentially, there are way more questions that haven't been answered.
They've invested in it. Sky have invested
Yeah.
in it. They were the ones that need to call the shots because they know what works on the television. So you need to get around the table with them and work out what they want.
Well,
because if you
let me
give them what they want, then the likelihood is
I'll tell
they'll
you what
sign
they
a
don't
long
want.
broadcast deal.
Tell you what they don't want.
Club's going out of business.
They don't want any more than 8 teams.
Well, there you go. Because
And
they don't want to go on too long.
Correct.
They want
And
that window between
correct.
the end of a tournament and, the start of the football
And as
season.
soon as you don't expand it, you've got 18 counties and only 8 of them are hosting. So you've got 10 counties that are saying, hang on, we're not making any money from this.
How do you make money?
Which is the fudge, which is why the ECB sit in the middle.
How do you make money out of county cricket? Because you look at, the average county
Hold on a
match.
second, we're coming off at 1 o'clock.
But you look at the average county match, it's literally one man and his dog go and watch county cricket now. It may be different at weekends, but for the daytime sessions, the ground is absolutely empty.
Yeah, look, county cricket has always had a kind of existential kind of crises going on, but essentially, county cricket is there to provide the ECB with players that do make money. You know, you make money, the ECB makes money out of Test cricket in this country.
And that's it.
But you're not, international cricket,
Yeah.
but you're not making money out of international cricket if the counties haven't produced the players.
Right.
We just,
Right.
we just found out the figure, so our producer's done a bit of due diligence. So it lost, you're saying, 9 million in 2 years, the 100 did. So if you take that's
But
what, 8 clubs? So
yeah.
that's 500 grand a club if you take it per annum.
Well, how much has been invested in 100 as well?
No idea. Presumably it's gone off the internet.
Because
so-
9 million quid actually isn't a huge amount, is it? you'll be buying a fullback for that, I'm sure.
If I could get one.
He'll be selling a fullback for that, that's for sure.
Many millions.
John, thanks very much for coming in.
I hope that
Enjoy
cleared it up. It didn't, did it?
Didn't.
But-
And you haven't sold me.
No.
But I wouldn't mind buying a club in another sport.
No,
But again,
be interesting.
Are they sending out presentations to potential
yeah,
investors?
they have.
They have.
They've gone.
Has
they've
nobody
gone-
leaked this info to
They've
you?
gone stateside. They've gone to the NFL. They've gone to India. They've gone
wow.
to Silicon Valley. They've gone all over the place.
Be interesting to see what happens over the next couple of years, because I must admit, when you do go and watch it, I know that it's
great fun.
The purists don't like it, and especially initially, people were very anti it. And I understand that.
You loved it.
But I took the kids, and they had a great time.
But that is
the
the
younger
point.
audience.
But that's the
Exactly.
point. It's a different demographic.
Yeah.
I mean, if Sam's a younger audience, I'm not sure
I
about
think
that.
I think his kids from one of his marriages. His kids are definitely the younger
I
audience. You know what I mean? It's just like,
But it is about that. It's about making cricket more visible in urban areas.
I agree with you.
Right? There's a lot about it that is absolutely right.
Yeah.
It's just the way about it. You could argue, but this is where we're at. This is where we're at.
Yeah.
My problem with it is what happens when the money runs out.
Like every other sport.
Right? So what happens? So with broadcast deals, so I know you've got to go to a break,
Yeah.
Sam. With broadcast deals, every broadcast deal you've ever seen a chief exec sign with Sky or whoever over the last 20 years, you read the press release. Every single one says, this safeguards the game.
Yeah.
This deal will safeguard the game at grassroots level, right? There is always another broadcast deal.
Yeah.
There is not going to be another chance to make the money after this investment. And what happens when this money runs out? And what happens when that check is signed and then the owners turn around and go, right, we want this?
Well, it's D-Day for the 100 then. This is a big season for it, I think, and hopefully it'll get a decent audience. So Manchester Original's going to do all right?
I haven't a clue.
All right. Cheers.
But it's a seller.
It's a seller, yeah,
It's
Manchester
a
will sell
popular
out.
format. And
Yeah.
also, the other thing is you cannot argue with the success it's brought to the women's game.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, the way it's been marketed, the way it's been phenomenal success.
It's a good day out. It is a good day out.
There are certainly problems with it.
Okay. Cheers, John. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. That's Jon Norman, our cricket editor. You're listening to Sam Matterface, Alex Crook and Darren McCanty on talkSPORT with Selco Builders Warehouse. Check out this month's real deals at selcobw.com. Next, we'll be looking at the prospect of Premier League games being played abroad. Surely not. That's not come up again, has it?
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.